Welcome to the coding session, where we will together build and deploy a single-page animated modern portfolio. Explain line by line, build step by step in around 1 hour with Nextjs for a fast and SEO-friendly website that will ensure optimal performance, and also having our website prepared in case we would like to add some backend features in the future. As Nextjs is built on top of React, we are still using React itself to write components and use React libraries. Frame motion for creating highly customizable animations that will give our website a professional and dynamic feel. After you will finish this project, you will be able to easily adjust these animations to make them exactly as you are imagining. Tailwind CSS will help us keep things simple yet powerful in terms of styling. That will make our styling experience an absolute blast. Now let's check the design of our page. For the hero section, we have there some quick info about us written on the top of this planet. And a changing color background that is fully aligned with color changes happening on this button and also in the portfolio section that is below. You can see there also Navbar that is fixed and will go with the user all time. With smooth animation, the navigation will be really a nice experience. My stack section with the dev stack we are using the most, LogoAnimation design element that is making our website more alive, and the portfolio section itself with changing colors, and also it's interactive. We will continue with the KeyMetrics, where we will list some of our achievements, progress, or experience. Then a services section with the services we are offering. You can see there that the heading also gets sticky, so it moves with the user to the next section, that is a contact section with the basic information, also with a map of our office, and if you will hit refresh, you will see the animation it does. I hope you will enjoy this session, and let's dive right into it. In our IDE, we will open a terminal. There, in this terminal, we will paste this command. npx create next step at latest. There, instead of my project, we can do just a dot, because we are already in a folder that's named dev portfolio for me. If you want also to create a folder for you, you can put there the name of the folder. Now also we will do their TypeScript and ESLint. We will hit enter and it will ask us a few questions. We would like to use Tailwind. We don't need source directory. We would like to use a router. No turbopack, no alias. Now it will install the dependencies. It will take a minute. Inside our folder, we will click there and we will create a new folder. We will name this folder components. And we will be saving there our sections as homepage, navbar, and so on. I can start creating there the components. Let's start with navbar. Then we can continue with hero, contact, footer, KeyMetrics, LogoAnimation, portfolio, services, and stack. Whenever we will create export of our component, we will add it in app to page.tsx. Currently on this page.tsx is this Next.js template. If we will go into the terminal and we will run command npm run dev and hit enter, it will open localhost 3000. And if we will open localhost 3000, there we will be able to see our page. Currently, there is just the Nextjs template. We'll be slowly creating these components and then we'll be adding them there instead of this template. And we can put it into something called empty fragments. And there we'll be adding navbar and so on. But to this later. First, we will need to create the components. Every time we would like to add there the component itself, we need to create its export. And I will create there export const navbar. Now I will need to do there some return, save it, and if we will go back to page and we will start typing there a tag of a navbar, we have there the recommendation to import it from the components. We will hit enter, we will close the tag, and now everything we will write into our navbar will be shown onto our page. and you can now see it in the left upper corner, even though it's really almost not visible. And like this, we will be adding all the components one by one. Let's now start with coding the navbar. We will need to import required dependencies: Nextjs link component for client-side navigation, React and the useState hook for state management, and icons from library React Icons. We can see that this React Icons library shows us some error. It's because we don't have this library installed. Let's copy the name of it, open a terminal, and do npm I and paste there the name of the library. Now we will hit enter, and it will install the library, and when we will get back to our component, it won't show error anymore. As we are using useState, which is a client-side feature, we will need to define this component as useClient to indicate that this component render on client side. We will continue with defining a navigation links array with title and path for each link. This will keep the navigation items organized, and also it will make it easy to add new links whenever we would like to. Now we can go directly into the navbar component. What we need to do there is to initialize state for mobile navigation menu. This nav will be a boolean to track if mobile menu is open or closed. And setNav will be a function to update the nav state. Defaultly, this will be set to false. We will then declare a function to toggle the mobile navigation and make it open or closed, and it will set the nav to a different value than it will be. So whenever the button will be clicked, the value will be changed, and we will then use it on our element for closing and opening the menu. We will also create a function closeNav, and that will be used whenever the link will be clicked to make sure our navigation will close. In return, instead of empty fragments, we will start with a div. For classes, we will use zIndex to 50. We will use fixed position, that means whenever we will scroll, the navigation bar will go with us. Flexbox layout, so we can use justify center to center the navigation items. We will set width to full, text to white, and font to bold. Then we will create a div for desktop navigation. For desktop navigation, we will also use a border and set it to border white with 0.2 opacity. Then we will do some margin from top and backdrop blur, because as we will be scrolling on the page, we would like our navbar to be nicely visible. Let's also make it rounded 3XL, so add some border radius there. On a mobile screen, this will be hidden, and on a medium screen and above, this will be displayed flex. Again, because we would like to center the items with item center and justify center horizontally and vertically. We will add some padding to it, and also we will set a maximum width to 400 pixels. If you will add more items to your navbar, you can increase this. Then you will set mxauto to also center this. Now if we will add something there and save it, you can see our navbar on the page. But why to add there just some letters? Let's map over the items and add them there. Before we will map through them, we will create an unordered list for them. This unordered list will use flexbox layout and flex raw. That means the items will be next to each other. We will again add some padding and space x8. That means we will have some gap between all the items horizontally. For the mapping, we will use navlinks.map, and we will use a link that will be the name of each item in this map and index. Inside our unordered list and this mapping, we will create a list item with key index. React uses this key to optimize the rendering performance, and there we are assigning the array index as a key. Inside this list item, we will add a link tag with href set to link.path, which we have in our array there. That means after we will add IDs to our other sections, this will get us to the desired section. And then a class name where we will add transform, hover text white with 0.5 opacity. That means when we will be hovering over our list items, we will see which one are we currently hovering over. Then transition all with duration set to 300 and easing out to make this animation of hovering smoother. Also, now you can see on our page that we have there the layout with the navigation, but there are no items. What we need to do is to access link.title we have in our array. Let's do link.title, save it, and we can now see our navbar is on the page. We can move below and code the mobile version of this navbar. We will create a div there, and we will add to this div onClick function. This onClick function we will add there is a toggle nav, and that means whenever this div will be clicked, it will execute this toggle nav function we have there. And in this toggle nav function, you can see that it will change the nav variable. That means whenever we will be clicking on this div, the nav state will be changed to true or to false. Now we will use something called ternary operator. We will check the value of our nav, and in case it will be true, it will execute this outline close icon, and in case it will be false, which defaultly is, we'll be seeing menu icon on our mobile. Let's now save it, and I will also change the page layout to a mobile version. You can now see there our menu icon, and if I will click it, you can see how it's being changed to cross and back to a hamburger menu. We will add a new div, and to this div we will add a class name, and inside this $sign with the curly braces we'll be using another ternary operator. In case our nav variable will be true, we will set translate x 0, and in case it will be false, we will set negative translate x full. This means we will be moving our menu items outside and back on the screen. Other classes that we will add there is a fixed position to left and top 0. We will set width to full and height to full, background black with 0.9 opacity, transform and transition transform, and duration 300 for the animation itself. We will save it now, and we can test it. And you can see how it's moving. Of course, we are still missing the items, but we will add them now. We can leave this navigation opened, and inside we can start adding the items. Similar as before, we need to create an unordered list, and we will add there a flexbox layout with flex direction column, so our list items are below each other. We will center them vertically and horizontally, and we will use space Y8. That means we will make some space vertically between them. We'll also set their height to full. And as before, you can basically just copy paste this. We will add this mapping over navlinks array, with link being the name of the current item and index being the position. Then this index we will use in key. After we will create the link tag, we will set there href to link.path and link.title for the name of the navigation item. Now we will save it, and we can see it on our page. We also added there onClick function for closing the navigation. Let's click, for example, on the portfolio. With this, we can wrap the navbar component. For hero section, we will first create there the main hero component definition. Inside, we will do the return, and for now we can do there empty fragments. We will also put it on the main page, .tsx, there. It's enough if you will just do this, and then it will import the hero section for you. We need to first do the imports, and also we will mark this component as a client-side component with use client. We need to mark it because we will be using use effect hook for animations. Inside the component definition, let's initialize a motion value with the first color from colors top array. There we will access the first one, And we created this color constant because we will be using it now in use effect hook, and it will be the starting point for our color animation. We will do there animate color with colors top array, and we will put there ease to ease in out, also duration to 10. There we can change the speed of the animation. Repeat will be on infinity, and repeat type will be mirror. This means that the animation reverses direction each cycle. Ease in out basically is a smooth transition between the colors there. Now also we need to add there a dependency array, and we will leave this dependency array empty. What it means? It means that this effect will run once on mounting this component. If I will put there, for example, any input, and that input will be changed, it will run on every change of the input. Just for context, but we will leave this empty. We can continue with also creating a motion templates for the dynamic CSS properties, and also creating a radial gradient background that will change the color. Let's do there a constant and call it background image. There we will use motion template. We will do backquotes, radial gradient 125%. Again, this is something I already have prepared in Figma with the colors at 50% and 0%. Now I will add there the $sign with color. That means I will put there the color I created there. I will finish this with the backquote, save it, and now in my background image I will have this use motion template with this radial gradient. That will be changing the color there. You can imagine there this code for the color, then this will be changed to this code of the color, and instead of this color there will be just these color codes. And the changing of the color codes is done by this use effect. Below we will create a border style that will change color, that we will use for our button. Let's name this border, use motion template, again backquote, 1 pixel solid, again with the color. And last but not least, we will also create a box shadow that will change the color. Box shadow, use motion template, backquote 0 pixels, 4 pixels and 24 pixels, again with the color, because we want to change the color, so we need to put it there. Otherwise, of course, there could be also something like this. We have everything prepared and we can start into return. We will do there a section tag, and not only the section tag, but a motion section tag. In this motion section tag, we will set a style and we will put there the background image. Then we will also set some class names where we will put the Tailwind classes. We will use there a relative class because we will have there some absolute elements. Then we will continue with the grid layout. We will set min height to screen, so we are making sure this section will take a full viewport height. Then we will continue with place content center, overflow hidden to make sure any content won't get out of our section. Then we will set padding X to 4 to set the horizontal padding, PY24 to set the vertical padding, and we can also set text gray to 200. Now, as we save it, you can see the color changing on our hero section. Now you can see all the colors I set there. There we will create a div. In this div, we will use a z-index to 10. We will set a flexbox layout, flex direction, column to have elements below each other, and we will set items to center. In this div, we can start with coding there the content that will be next to our profile picture with our name, some basic information, and so on. I will start there with the span tag, and I will set there a margin bottom to 1.5. Inline block. What is inline block? That's a CSS property that will allow element to sit in line with the text, but still behave like a block element. That will let us set width, height, and padding. We will make this rounded full. We will set their background grade to 600 with 0.5 opacity. We will do that with /50. Then we will set some padding X, horizontal padding, PY, vertical padding, and also text to small. Inside this pen tag, we will write open for work. Of course, you can modify this, and it will look like this for now. Of course, now we will add more content, so it will make more sense. Let's continue with the first H1, and there will be hi, I am. And below, we will do another H1, and theoretically it should be doable in one H1, but I will set different classes for the first sentence and different for the second one. There I will just set text white with 0.4 opacity, text 7XL, font black. That will be it. Maybe we can then take some classes and put it into the div above these two headings. For the name John Doe, I will put maximum width of 3XL. You can modify this according to your name. I will set the background gradient to bottom right from white to gray 400. This will create a gradient text color. We need to also bg clip text, so this gradient color will be visible. And now I will continue with the styling on line below. I will also make the formatting of the code better. I can still maybe put one class there so you can see it. I will use there font black. This means this is the most font weight we can do. Also you can see there it's font weight set to 900. Leading tight to decrease the letter spacing. Now I will continue on next line. There I will do text transparent. Then maybe on medium screen above I can still increase the text size. Let's do there text 7XL. Now you can also see how the color of the text is gradient. We can now move below our name with the div. And inside this div we will put an image tag. And in this image tag we will start with source. That will be a profile picture. Then alt. That will be profile picture. Then width, there we will set for now 250 to make it a bit smaller. Maybe, to be honest, we don't even need this div, so let's delete it, put it back. Then below this picture we will continue with another div. This div will be with some small information about us. I will put a flexbox layout with background white and 0.1 opacity. I will put there some shadow, some padding, rounded 3XL to increase the border radius, justify center and items to center the items horizontally and vertically, space X2 to make there some horizontal spacing, and also I will do there margin to bottom. I will continue inside this div. I will put there an image and I will put there source, which I imported as object, then alt. I can do just object. Width, I will need to set something small like 30 because it should be basically just an icon, and a class name of rounded 2XL and mxodo. Maybe there should be some icon of silhouette of the client or some check. In working version of this portfolio I'd put there this object and I left it there, and then I started to kinda like it. So I will leave it also there and put there whichever icon you would like. Now we would like to paste this 2 more times. Below these images I will create a paragraph tag with 80 plus happy clients. For this paragraph I will add font medium, and that will be it. I will continue with a paragraph tag, and there I will write full stack developer based in Amsterdam with over 5 years of experience. I will also put some classes there. What I will use is my, so vertical margin to 6, maximum width to XL, and on medium screen we can increase the text size to large. You can update this maximum width, depends on what you will put there. We can do also large. Currently XL is probably the best choice. Let's continue with a button. Below we will do motion.button. Inside we will do the icon FI arrow right. We can close this. There we will just add some class names, but first we will style the motion button. Inside this motion button we will add a style, and as in the main section tag we will put there border and box shadow. Now you can see the button, and it will also be changing colors like our background. What we also add there is while hover, and while we will be hovering this, we will set a scale to 1.015. That means we will increase it a bit. While tap, so while we will click this button, we will decrease the scale a bit. We will also add there some class names, flexbox layout with width to fit, and that will set the element's width to fit its content, and that will make our element only as wide as necessary to contain the inner content. So if into this button we will write some content, you can see how the width will increase. Let's continue with the classes. We will put items center there, some gap, also round it full, padding X and PY to 4 and 2. Now we will put there the actual text, and we can put there, for example, download CV. And for the arrow, maybe I will leave the classes for now and just leave it as is. Now let's check the div. I think we should take this closing of the first div. Basically, below the happy clients, we will have just one div closing tag. The second one that was there we will cut, and we will paste it below this button. Save it, and that should be fine. Now we can take this motion button, also with this paragraph tag, hit tab, and it will style the code like this. If you are using Prettier, it should be even easier. With that extension, you can format your code really easily. I'm not using it now, just for the tutorial purposes. We will add the planet behind our profile picture and the description. We will need to code the CSS classes. For that, we can do there a div. Inside this div, we will do another two divs. They will be empty, so we can leave them like this. The first div will use a CSS class that we will code right after we will define it there. It will be called background circle container. That will be the container for the planet we will create. Background circle background. And the last one will be background circle. Now we will open globals.css, and there you can take the globals.css from the file I will provide to you, and you can code it as you can see it on the screen. I have it there, and I will just explain to you what it does. For the container, it's positioned absolute. There we are setting the position where this should be on our screen. We are centering it there. We are setting the width and height. If you will change this to, for example, 100 pixels, you can see what happens. We will set border radius to 50. This means it's a full circle, then a z-index to 0, so we are making sure this is not above the other elements. For the circle background, we are using position absolute, width and height to 100%, again full circle, and black background color fully visible. Z-index we are setting to -1, so it's behind this container. The background circle is the planet you can see itself. If I will now decrease there the width, you can see what happens, that the background circle behind it is displayed. Let's put it back there. There we are setting also the full circle and the background color. I'm using this radial gradient circle with these colors. Of course, you can update them as you like. This will set the corners. Maybe if we do there something later, it can look more interesting. And that will be it. Now back to our hero section. What we just need to do is to play with our name. Let's go back to code. There we will find John Doe, and we will set their text to 5XL. We can copy paste these text sizes, put it there above, too high I am, save it, and we will have it the same. Now we can check the responsiveness. back in code, going to this paragraph, we will set text to center. And now I think it should be fine. Let's try to hover the button. And that will be it for the hero section. We will create a stack component now. Will be called stack.tsx. There we will do export const stack. There we will do a return. Can be just with empty fragments for now. And we will go to page.tsx. And there we will edit like this. Import it. Let's start with the stack component. First we will do import React from React. Then we will start importing the icons. And unfortunately it will be from different collections of React icons, so we need to do it below each other. Let's start with FA React. We will use these icons for our stack. If you want to mention different technologies from your stack, just try to find the different icons, and in React icons you should find a lot of icons, so I think you will pick something there. Below these imports we will define an array of the objects that will contain the information about each technology mentioned in our stack. We called constant stack items, and we will start with ID that we will use for key, name. For example, for the first one it will be React, then icon, FA React, and a color. For React it will be a blue one. For that we will use this color code. Then we will do this for all the icons, and it will look like this for Node, TypeScript, Mongo, and Next. And then we can start defining the stack component itself. Let's go there into the return. Instead of these empty fragments, we will do there a section tag. For the section tag, we will use a py to 16. For the vertical padding, inside we will start with a div. We will set a maximum width to 1200 pixels. We will center it with mx auto, padding x to 4, and text to center. We are using this maximum width on the inner div because we want this section to take a full width, and the div that will hold these stack items should be more in the center, so we will use it like this. For the heading 2, we will put there something like my stack. We will also there styling. For the styling I will put text 5XL, text gray 200, also font bold, and margin bottom 4. I will scroll down on the page. Now it's visible. Below the heading we will do a div tag, and this one will hold the actual icons. I will put there a grid layout, grid columns 1, so all the icons have only one column and are below each other. It's defaultly on the mobile screen, so we don't need to worry about it. From small screen we will do grid columns 2, from medium screen grid columns 3, and large we will do grid columns 5. Also we will do gap 2, so we have some spacing between them. In this div now we will map over the stack items. Item will be the name of the current item in the array, and there inside this mapping we will do a div. Also we need to close it. We are missing one there. Inside this div we will start with setting the key as item.id to know which item in iteration we are currently on. For class names we will put a flexbox layout, center this with items to center, justify center, horizontally and vertically. Flex direction column, because we will in this div have the icon itself and also the item name. And we want the icon and item name to be below each other, so we will use flex direction column. Rounded XL for increasing the border radius and some padding. Then let's put this on another line. Now we will create a div for the icon itself, and inside this div we will do react.createElement item.icon with a class name to width 32 and height 32, and style, where we will set color to item.color. Now we can see the items on our page. Let's continue with the styling. Below this create element, actually below this whole div, we will create a paragraph tag, and inside this one we will put the item.name. Now we have it there. Let's also add some styling. For the styling we will do text gray 400, font semi-bold. In the div of the icon we will also add the margin at the bottom, background white with 0.1 opacity, padding to 6, rounded to XL, and I think that's it. And now time for one additional thing. In our section there we will put a class of glass. I will also go down in case you didn't see some code because of the screen I have in the right bottom corner. For the glass class, we need to define it in globals.css. In case you go to starter files, you will already have it there, but let me walk you through it. There's this glass class. This glass class is using a linear gradient background with some color, also backdrop blur with the border and box shadow. We have also some border radius set there, and on the page it looks like this. So it creates a nice grayish background behind the stack component. For the stack component, that will be it, and we can move to another one. For LogoAnimation, we will first declare useClient to this component because we will have there dynamic UI updates for the infinite LogoAnimation. We will continue with imports. In imports, we will be importing image from Nextjs, then motion from Framer Motion, and below the images from the assets. In case you don't have yet the library of Framer Motion, you will open the terminal and do npm i framer motion. Then it will work. We will continue with an array creation that will be called images, and inside we will have source and source of the imported image we have there, and alt, which will be just the name of the logo. And I had there a Figma before, now I have there Udemy, so this can be fixed. Inside LogoAnimation, we will start with a div, and to this div we will add vertical padding to 8, some background that we can change later or update to our design, and we will also set there opacity to 0.8, which means we don't necessarily need to do the 0.1 opacity to our color there. We will continue with another div, and this div will have a class of container and mxauto to have it centered. Then inside there will be another one, and that will have a classes of overflow hidden, and also another class that will create the effect that our logo animation is fading away from the left and appearing on the screen again on the right with this setting of a transparent. You will see the effect right after we will add the items itself. Inside this div, we will add a motion div for the animation. We will set there some Tailwind classes for flexbox layout, gap to 14, flex to none, and padding to right to 14. We will add there animate to translate x -50% to set the animation properties, and this means that this animation property will move the content horizontally, and -50% means it will move left by half of its width, and this will create a continuous scrolling effect when combined with the infinite repeat in the transition property that we have there right below. There we also set the duration to 35. Now, as mentioned, repeat to infinity is linear and repeat type loop. Maybe you are also asking why we have so much items and duplicated items in our array of images. And it's because we need to have our logos take the specific width. If there will be only 4 items, we are not able to make this loop infinite, because it will just be 4 items going around and it will look that there are just some items missing. That's why we can just duplicate these items, let's say 2 times, and it will create this infinite loop animation. If you will have this many logos that you want to input into this logo animation, you then don't need to duplicate it. Inside, we will do the mapping over the images array, where image is the current item of the array and index is its position. Then we will add the image tag and we will set the key as index, source as image.source, alt as image.alt we have in our array, and also height to 30. We will save it and we will see that the component now works. There you can also see the transparent from left and right and how it makes the animation look like fading to the left side and appearing slowly from the right side. To check this responsivity, basically there is nothing much to check. On the smaller screen it will be just showing fewer logos at the same time. The next component we will create is portfolio. We will first enable client-side features with use client. Then we will make import of React and use state hook with use effect hook. Then we will import image from next image. We will import project images from assets folder that we will be displaying. I will create const projects, and there for each project I will create an ID. I will create year. I will create a title. I will create some short description, and I will also put there image. Now below I will add more projects and it will look like this. I will be using 3 projects in the portfolio component. I will initialize state for the selected projects with defaulting to first project. So there we will do projects and first in the array with 0. This will be the state variable and with this we will be setting it. Now we can go directly into return. There we will start with a section. Inside this one we can do ID of portfolio and a class name. We will do py32 and text to white. Inside this section we will start with heading 2. This heading 2 will hold the heading of selected projects. We can put the projects in a span tag in case we would like to add to it a different color. Also for the styling of heading 2, we will add text 6XL, font bold and margin to bottom to 10. Below this heading 2, we will do mapping through the project array to create the project items. I will do projects.map. Name of the item in the iteration will be project. There we can open our div. In this div, we will set a key as project.id. We will set onClick function, and onClick function will be the setting of the state variable. There we will do set selected project to project. Now we will do Tailwind classes that will be cursor pointer, margin to bottom, and group. We will continue with displaying project year. We will do there a paragraph tag with project.year. Now we will add some styling to it, and that will be different text color, also text large and margin to bottom. And below we can continue with heading 3. This heading 3 will hold project.title. The styling we will add there will be text 3XL, font semi-bold, group hover, text gray 400, transition colors, duration 300, and we will do there one more thing. Let's put there back quotes with the curly braces, because inside we will check if this project is the selected one, and in case yes, we will display there a different text color. Let's do selected project.id equals to project.id check, a ternary operator, and in case yes, we will do there text gray 200. In case no, we will do nothing, so the false position will be empty. We will be using transition colors because it will enable the smooth transition specifically for the color related properties. So as we are using this group hover, it will be handy. Now we can already see on our page that we are getting somewhere, and we will now continue with showing the divider line in case the project is selected. I will do there a condition, selected project.id equals project ID, basically the same as we used there, but we don't need to use a ternary operator. We will do there just conditional rendering, so in case this will be true, we will display empty div, and to this div we will add border bottom 2 class with border gray 200 and also my, so vertical margin to 4. Now we can see on our page that we have selected the first project is there. If I will select the second or third, it will be moving. Another conditional rendering we will do, so we can just copy paste this, will be on the project description. In case the project will be selected, we will show the project description. I will just open this div, put there a project.description, and I will change this div tag to a paragraph tag. Also, I will add there a bit different classes. I don't need the border. I will add there text gray 400, transition all, duration 500, and ease in out to have this smoothly displayed. Now we will scroll on the top of this return, and there in the section we will create a div, and we will wrap this div around this mapping. Now for this div we will add some classes. Let's start with maximum width to 7XL, then MX Auto, PX4. That should be it for now. We will move down, and below this div we will put an image tag there. Inside this image tag we will set source to selected project.image.source. For alt we will do selected project.title. For class name we will do rounded XL, shadow large, transition opacity, duration 500, and these in out for making a smooth animation. Also we will set width to 800, height to 450. We will save it. Now it should be fine. Now we need to play a bit with the divs there. Let me add there additional div to wrap this project information, recreate it there. Now into the second div we have there, we will add classes of grid layout, and on large screen we will use grid calls 2 with gap to 12. Now it should take this div, and of course the closing of the second div we will put below. Now on the page it will be fine. Now also we will format the code. You will see the div structure better. This should go one tab further. This should go also one tab further. We will move this, and that should be fine. So we are starting there with the section tag, continuing with the div. Inside this div we are having a div that is holding the project information and also the image with the project itself. We will add there a few more things now, and one of them will be that we will import also that use motion template with use motion value, motion, and animate from framer motion. We will go to hero section. We can basically take some things from there. I will reuse this color stop array, put it there. I will take this background image. I will put it into the portfolio component. I want to take also this color variable, and also I will take this use effect. this background image, we will put it below. Then in this section, we will change this to motion section. Don't forget it on the second tag. For this section, we will set the style with the background image. And now it will be changing colors also. And that will be it for the portfolio section. Now we can move to next component. Now we will continue with the KeyMetrics. We will start with declaring use client to indicate that this component will use client-side features. Then we will import React and Motion and Use in View from Framer Motion library. And we will define an array of metric objects, each containing information about a specific metric. And inside, we will start with the first item that will have ID, value, label, and description. Now I will add some additional metric items. You can take inspiration. I'm having there 5+ years of experience, 50+ projects completed, then code quality and commits on GitHub. In KeyMetrics component, we will start with creating a ref that we will use in UseInView hook. We will create a ref using the React useRef hook that will be attached to the section element. The ref is typed as HTML element since it will be used on a section tag. Initial value is null since the ref hasn't been attached to any element yet, and this ref will be used with the UseInView hook to detect when the section enters the viewport. Then we will use the UseInView hook to determine if the component is in the viewport. We will use there the ref and once to false. The ref is the reference to the element we want to observe, and once false means that we will set that the hook will continuously track the element's visibility. In return, we will create a motion section. We will set there ref to ref. Initial state will be invisible and 50 pixels below. Animate will use a ternary operator, and it will check in case isInView is true, it will set the visibility or opacity to 1 and the final state, and in case it's false, it will set this to invisible, opacity 0, and again 50 pixels below. The animation duration will be 0.8 seconds, and the classes are container, mxauto to center the container because the container has some width, then some padding setting, and text to white. We will add motion h2 to use it for heading of KeyMetrics. The initial state will be opacity 0 and y to 20. Animate will again use the ternary operator, on true position visible, on false position invisible, transition with a delay of 0.2 seconds and duration of 0.6 seconds. And for class names, we will set text size to text 6XL, font to bold, and margin to bottom 12. We will continue with another div that will use a grid layout. We will set there grid columns for the medium and the large screen. And also we will set there a gap of 8. So we have some gap between the elements. Inside, we will start with a mapping over the metrics array. Metric will be the name of the item and index the position. We will create a motion div and the key will be the metric.id. We will set the initial state and also again we will set animate where we will use the ternary operator same as before because we would like to trigger this animation again and again every time we will have this in viewport. For transition, to have all the metrics displayed at a different time, we will add there also a new value of index and we will multiply it. This means that each index will have a higher value, and by that it will create the wave effect where the first index will be displayed faster than the last one. And also it will use flexbox layout with flex direction column to have the elements below each other. Then we will create a heading tree. In this heading tree, we will display the metric.value. We will set their initial, animate, and transition exactly the same as I displayed in the div above. And the class names we will set there for our metric value to text5XL, font bold, and some color. We also set their margin to bottom too. Below this heading, we will continue with motion P for the paragraph tag. We will set their metric.label. Again, we will set initial, animate, and transition. And class names will be TextXL, font semi-bold, and margin to bottom 2. Then we will do there another motion.p for paragraph tag that will hold the metric.description. We can just copy paste it and change the Tailwind classes for text gray 400, and that will be it for our KeyMetrics. For services component, we will do inside the component an array of service objects containing the information about each service that we would like to offer. Each object will have an ID, title, and description property. Let's do there a constant services. And inside, we can do the first item where we will set the ID, then title, and also description. Now I will add more services, and in the end, the array will look something like this. In the return, instead of the empty fragments there, we will do a section tag, and inside the section, we will be adding other elements. For the section itself, we will add a class name of text white and py20 to have there some vertical padding. Then we will add a div, and we will add to it Tailwind classes with container, mxauto to center it, and flexbox layout to use flex direction column to have our items below each other. On medium screen and above, we will set there a flex direction row. That means the items will be next to each other. Then we will add two divs. One will be with the services heading and the second one with the items from our array. The first div will have a Tailwind classes of a medium screen above using 1/4 of width. Padding right will be set to 8. Margin to bottom will be set to 12. And on medium screen, we will reset this margin to bottom to 0. Inside, we will do the heading 2 with services, and we will set there text 6XL, font extra bold, sticky position, and top to 20, which is the position where we would like to stick this. What does sticky position means? It means that whenever we will scroll, the services heading will scroll with us. We will add another div, and we will set there from medium screen and above width to 75%. Inside, we will start mapping over the services array. There, the item will be service. We don't need to use index because we will be using service ID as a key. And for class name, we will use margin to bottom to 16 and flexbox layout to use items start because we would like to align our items there. Then we will add two more divs. One will be for holding the number, which will be the ID, and second one for holding the other two fields, title and description. For the first div, we will use text gray 300 color, font bold, text 5XL, and margin right to 6. For the second div, we don't need to do anything. In the first div, we will also add service.id. Now, if we will save it, you can see we have there numbers for all of our services. What left is that in second div, we will add the two other fields, and then the section will look like this. For heading 3, we set there service.title, and for paragraph tag, we set there service.description. For the heading, we also added text to Excel, font bold, and margin to bottom 2. And what we should also do is that we will take this array and we will put it outside of the component definition because we want to avoid recreation on each render. Now this is how these services will look like on other devices, and that will be it for this component. We will start with declaring this component as useClient for the interactive hover effects, viewport triggered animation, or framer motion animations. We will also import motion from framer motion. If you don't have this library yet, open a terminal, do npm i framer motion, hit enter, and that will install it. Write to the component. There we will start with a section, and to this section we will add ID of contact, and for classes we will add a vertical padding to 32, text to white, and we will make this maximum width of 1200 pixels with mxauto to make this centered. we will also add a vertical padding there to 4. We will start with the first motion div. This motion div will start invisible and 20 pixels below final position. While this will be in view, it will animate to fully visible and final position. Animation will take 0.8 seconds, so we will set the duration to 0.8 to transition. This will animate only once when scrolling into the view. That means we will set the viewport once true. For class name, we will set a grid layout, and on large screen, we will use grid columns 2, and also we will set their gap to 16. In this motion div, we will create another div, and for elements inside, we will use space Y12. That means we will have some spacing between them. We will create a motion H2, where we will set the animations. We will start with the initial. This will start invisible and 20 pixels left of the final position. While this will be in view, we will make it visible, and also for the transition, we will set the animation to take 0.6 seconds with 0.2 seconds delay. For the classes, we will set text size to 7XL, font to bold, and text gray to 300. Inside, we will input there a heading of get in touch, and the touch word we will put into the span tags. For the touch word and the span tag, we will add a different text color. I will now put there text gray 500. We will continue to another motion div. This motion div will start with opacity 0, that means it will start invisible, and 20 pixels left of the final position. While this will be in view, we will make it visible with setting opacity to 1. And for the transition, this will again take 0.6 seconds with 0.4 delay. For the Tailwind classes, we will use padding 8, rounded to XL, and space Y8. That means we will again make some space between the elements we will have there in this motion div. And what we will have there? We will basically have there contact information, and the first one will be about the mobile phone number. We will have there paragraph tag of phone and anchor tag of the number itself. For the div, we will again use space Y2 to have their spacing between the paragraph tag and anchor tag. We will set text size and text color for the paragraph tag, and then for anchor tag, we will set href to the actual number. For the classes, we will add text to XL, font semi-bold, some different color on hovering, and transition duration with 300, also flexbox layout with items to center this, and gap to 2. Then we also have there a span tag, because we would like to add an arrow next to this number for the styling purpose. We can set there some color for the arrow, and that will be it. Below we will continue with another div. In this div we will hold email. It will be basically the same styling as we had there for the mobile, but we will change href to mail to and the actual email, and that will trigger the email. When someone will click the email link, it will open, for example, on Windows Outlook for him, with option to write email to us. It really has the same Tailwind classes as the phone, so I won't go through them again. Let's continue with the next div with the address, and there is the paragraph tag with the office and the actual address. For the address, we are also using styling of text XL, and leading relaxed sets the line spacing between the text lines. Below we will have another div starting with opacity 0 and x20 as the divs before. That means invisible and on different position. While in view, this will be visible, and in the final position, transition will take 0.6 seconds with 0.6 delay. And for the class names, we will set width to full, height to full, min height of 400 pixels, rounded to XL, and overflow hidden. Do not have any content outside of this div. This div will hold the iframe with the Google map, where we will set the position of our address. Into this iframe source, we will put this Google Maps URL. We will set their width and height to 100% for setting the full width and height of the container. For the style, we will use border 0 to remove the iframe border, and we will also allow full screen to enable the full screen mode. Loading lazy means that we will lazy load the iframe for better performance. These are just the attributes we need to define in our iframe tag. This is how our contact section will look like. We can also check the responsivity. There it is on desktop, small tablet or iPhone. There I will hit refresh to see the animation. And for a contact component, that will be it. Now we will head to layout.tsx and there we will create a new import. And we will import pop-ins from Next font Google. We will create there a new constant. In this constant, we will load pop-ins font and we will add their subsets and weight. We can delete this local font. We can also delete it from import there. And we can continue into the body. And there we will do pop-ins.className. There used to be also these two local fonts. You can delete them, so your class name for body will look like just this. Now if we will save it and we will check the page, you can see we have the pop-ins font there. And in VS Code, in LogoAnimation, we will add there class glass. Then we have there the portfolio section. We will go through the section and make it more colorful. I will go to the KeyMetrics and I will take the purple color 300 from there. I can copy it and I can start with contact and set there the purple. Actually, I will just switch the gray words for purple. I will use it on the hover. There also. Now we will use it on the services, on a service ID, and also on the service heading. We can just do text purple 300. Now it's same with KeyMetrics. Actually, we can leave it as is now. Now we can move to portfolio. There we will set this purple color to span. We will set it to hover, to selected project, also to the divider. And we will keep the description as is. Then we will go to contact.tsx and there we will add to the wrapping section overflow x clip. That makes sure any content won't get out of the section. On mobile screen it was creating some empty space around. We will go to KeyMetrics and there in KeyMetrics to the main motion section we will add a glass class. Also we will need to remove the container and MX auto. And we will need to create there a div inside. Take the closing of this div and put it above the motion section closing tag. We will also format the code. Let's take this starting at motion H2. Just hit one tab and it will format it. And now for div we will add the classes of that container and MX auto. Save it and it will be fixed. Let's add the IDs now so the navigation bar works. About section I will add to KeyMetrics. We can do it there. ID about. Portfolio section we can do it there. We have it actually. Portfolio. And for stack we will add it there. ID stack. We can test the Navbar and it's working. Let's check the responsiveness for mobile, small tablet and laptop. There we can see the navigation menu. And we can scroll down the page. Everything is working with the animations. Now let's deploy it to Vercel. We will do Ctrl+Shift+P and we will publish to GitHub. We will select name for our portfolio make sure all changes are staged and committed. So there on plus I will stage all the changes. I can do some commit message. I can send it to the repo. Now I will go to vercel.com and I will add a new project. I will select there this dev portfolio planet colors that I just created and I will click on import. In case you will fail, you don't need to redeploy. Let's just go back to your projects, there to dashboard, open this, click there on deployments, and you will be tracking it there. Then the deployment will run for a while, then it can maybe even fail. We will check the errors there, go on page.tsx, there we will remove the image. Then the next one was on a hero section, profile there. How did it even get there? I have no idea. Save it, stage the changes, deployment fix as a commit message. Now we will commit. There we will click on the project name, it's building again, and with this our page is deployed. If you managed to deploy it also, congratulations. If not, don't worry, I bet you are just a few steps from deploying your website. And with this link, now everybody can access our website. And that will be it. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this session. I hope you learned something new. Looking forward to see you in the next session. Cheers.